Hola amigos, hola, hola, bienvenidos, big welcome to Lima, Peru. My name is Vanessa Vasquez. I am your Lima City guide, and today we are continuing with my series dedicated to the street art in the city of Lima. It is always a pleasure to show you a new spot, a new place, a new story. Today we're going to talk about street art, we're going to talk about urban art, and a particular type of urban art that probably is not really very well known, especially in my country. And this is why we're going to see and be part for a moment of the first festival of paste up that had happened in Lima, Peru. This is the very first one, first edition of a festival like this one. So I am in front of a beautiful wall of 80 meters, square meters, that is completely paste up. But before we start officially this tour, let me say hi to you all. We have a couple of minutes for a warming up before we go to see the wall. We're going to see the mural. And also, well, thanks a lot, by the way, for joining to this event, this Sunday event. Today, Lima's weather is a little bit more chilly than yesterday. If you've been with me yesterday on my Barranco tour, today in Miraflores, we have a very, very humid day. It's very, very gray. Look at this. Look at the fog in Lima. This is not smoke. This is not something burning. It is just the very thick humidity and mist that we have in Lima in this time of the year. Lima City is located on a desert. It rains very little in Lima, but we have high humidity around this period of the year. So, my friends, thanks for joining to this event. Muchas gracias. I am transmitting live from Lima, Peru. And if you already were able to be part of the first session dedicated to the FILIBA, this festival, Latin American festival of paste up, with my friend Grace in Buenos Aires. I'm sure you had a really fun time with her. That festival, by the way, started in Buenos Aires last weekend, and is continuing here in Lima, Peru this weekend. It started in Lima yesterday, and this is the closure moment. So that's why we are, of course, coming here to see the work of art that this festival left in Lima. So, well, we are officially starting with this event. Muchas gracias and thanks for your participation, my friends. Once again, my name is Vanessa Vasquez. I am your Lima City guide. I am a proud Limenia, proud Peruvian tour guide that wants in every occasion to show you something different, an off-the-beaten path destination, something cultural. We are talking about sometimes traditional pre-Hispanic history, colonial history, Republican history, and of course, we have to talk about modern contemporary art. So today's tour is about street art, and well, I really hope you enjoy this event. So, well, are you ready to start this event? By the way, if you can give me a thumbs up, I would love to know if you are there. So, gracias, Enti. Gracias, Molly. Thank you so much for coming, by the way. Gracias, Queen. And well, let's enjoy this fabulous festival that is coming to the end today in just some few more minutes. So, let's see the product of this festival in Lima. So, my dear friends, FILIBA is an international event that takes place usually in Buenos Aires, and that in this occasion is also including Lima as one of the sites where the event is taking place. FILIBA actually in Spanish is the meaning of this name is Festival Internacional Lima, Buenos Aires. So International Festival, Lima, Buenos Aires. And last weekend, my friend and colleague Grace was in Buenos Aires showing you a huge wall of 170 square meters. It was very, very big. Here in Lima, it's usually a little bit more complicated to find bigger walls. So finally, in just within a week, the organization committee founded this wall in Miraflores. It is a wall of 80 square meters, and it is all pasted up. So we're going to see little by little what are the colorful stickers and posters that have been glued to this wall. And if you don't know what paste up means, maybe you've heard about a street art, but more the concept of a street art for you is like painting or like murals or graffiti, right, with spray. Possibly this is going to be something new to you. So the paste up movement is pretty much like going at the same rhythm and development with the graffiti, with the muralism in the world, and especially in Latin America. So the paste up idea, the core idea, is basically to glue to a wall. It could be a small sticker, it could be a miniature, like in this case. It could be a bigger poster, as you can see, right? It can be also something way bigger, like for example, we're going to see in a little while, something much bigger, a bigger composition. So using different programs, computer programs, to first like make an image in the computer, right? And then divide this image in different squares, or maybe the size of a paper, in a paper, right? And then cut these images and then glue them, paste them back in the wall, right? So we're going to, first of all, give a look to the length, the whole length of the wall, right? And then we're going to go to see some of the most interesting stickers and posters, right? So look at this, for example, even the the electric post is all covered with these stickers. So something very important about the paste up movement here in Peru, this is pretty much a new movement in comparison to the one of the muralism. And that's why this is the very first event that is dedicated to impulsing, to try to motivate more artists to also embrace this different form of art expression, which can be sometimes much more easier than painting a big mural, for example, but also at the same time is very versatile. So in this section, we have all the different artists that have participated in this festival. By the way, we receive posters from different parts of Peru and different parts also of Latin America. And in total have participated 150 artists. But of course, we don't have the 150 artists in this moment because, well, in part because of the pandemic, it would become very complicated to have them all in person. Also, many of them are not living in Lima. So we had, between yesterday and today, a group of 10 artists that have been working, pasting up each one of these pieces of art, and that also, well, knew which composition they wanted to give to the wall, right? Because the idea is not just painting, or gluing like randomly the images. The idea is to give a composition. This is an art piece as well. By the way, it was a little bit complicated for them to find a proper wall. They were working to finding some place, and finally, well, this I think it's a parking lot offer them the wall to decorate it in this way. So nice people. So here you can see the full length first. We're going to see the full length of the art piece, and then we're going to sort of like try to dig in the pieces that I consider really interesting, or maybe also you can ask me, you can request, to get closer to one in particular. So, of course, Paste Up usually is related with, the local sentiments about, for example, could be culture, could be food, could be TV programs, television programs, right? So these are things that usually call the attention to the locals and are meaningful to the locals. And that's why I want to also take advantage of being here and show you the meaning of some of them. So here we have another view of the wall. As I said before, in total, we have 80 square meters of wall covered with Paste Up. So to make Paste Up, you need, pretty much like very, very cheap products. So when you are doing a mural, like with spray, for example, spray painting, you need, of course, to invest way more money to do a big mural. But for Paste Up, which is a more humble, let's say, way of art, you need paper. And by the way, the paper don't have to be very heavy, right? There are different, we call gramajes. It can be some thinner papers, some thicker papers. So it has to be a paper that is not too thick. Because in that way, if it's too thick and you glue it, it's going to come down easily for the weight of the paper, right? So the idea is that it has to be a light paper, and also the colors you would use, it could be, for example, made from permanent marker. If you use regular markers and then you try to glue them, the glue is going, or the paste basically is going to ruin completely the painting, right? So if you use permanent marker, that will be enough. Also, some laser impressions, some specialized type of inks that you can also purchase will work fantastic if you're doing this digital, right? So you can see that there are different sizes of these posters. Sometimes they can be very big, sometimes they can be very small, made by hand, or sometimes it can be printed. You can even recycle paper. In many of the cases, for example, the artists focus in developing Paste Up. They use recycled materials, for example, newspapers, and they create very interesting compositions, right? Sometimes they even mix, for example, techniques, spraying and then also using Paste Up on top. So, the Paste Up art, the origin of the Paste Up art is not very, very clear, but I've been reading a lot about the origins of this street art, and I found that the Paste Up movement started in Paris, and it was around the 60s when it started. Also, other information I was able to find says that this art started also in Paris in a time when it was forbidden to spray painting on the walls of Paris. So you were fined with lots of money. French people, they usually are very avant-garde and also very, very fighters, right? So if the government said you cannot do this, they were finding an alternative way to do it, right? So that's how the Paste Up movement started. Here we have also the organizers. We have Argentinian Gersi. He is the organizer of the Buenos Aires FILIBA in black and hat. And we have also Martin Scor. He is the organizer here in Peru. So we have a very nice group of artists and let's say young people that are also initiating in the Paste Up world, which also are seeing in this, let's say, a little bit older generation, a pathway to follow, right? An inspiration. So, how you make your glue for paste up? Have you wondered how is made the paste, the pegamento in Spanish? It is, of course, usually not acrylic, let's say glue, the one you use. You need, for example, flour, the one that you use for baking, right? You need sugar and hot water. So in internet you can find different ways to make your own glue. And when you glue the paste ups, you have to first glue the wall or impregnate it with this, let's say, this paste. Then you put the paper, and on top you cover, of course, with another layer of the glue to make it more like stick to the wall. So now we can see a series of beautiful pieces. I'm going to leave this group of people that are going to have their pictures made. And let's go to see some of the images in the wall. For example, we have over here, Somos Cultura, we are culture, right? Most of these pieces, these posters are about culture, protecting the culture, of course, are against, for example, the government, and denouncing, things that the artists consider are bad. And in most of the cases, society considers that are bad for us. El futuro es ahora. The future is now. We have also, there's something really interesting I found over here. Oh, this is really interesting. So immediately to me, it caught my attention because this is the brand of a famous milk, Peruvian brand Gloria, which is originally from Arequipa. And well, now you know that most people are against consuming milk of animal milk, right? So here you can see the sign warming, right? So don't do that. But it's something new to us to understand that milk can make you feel sick, right? So we have also different other signs. For example, Bitrex is one of the organizers of this event. All of these pieces were sent in the last weeks to Lima. First, like just papers, printed papers, received by the organizers, and later on, they were the ones who organized the way how finally the wall would look like, right? So, Sabete Valer. Sabete Valer is this, looks very, to me, the way how it's written is Argentinian. So give you a value. That would be the meaning, right? La ignorancia nos está matando. Ignorancia is the lack of knowledge, being ignorant. That is what is killing us, right? Coca-Cola is poison. Coca-Cola is veneno. You are free. This is really interesting in English. To believe in the illusion that you are free. So we have different other pieces that are here. Dime si no me escuchas. Tell me if you don't listen to me, if you don't hear me. Por miedo a entenderme. For the fear of understanding me. Oh, of course. We have here, what is the name of this movie? I cannot remember. It's a series, right? The Squid Game, right? Is that right? Jugaremos, prendete un verde. So, well, this is, let's play, no? To me, this sounds like, let's smoke weed. So, global war is coming. This is the same can of milk, of Gloria milk, which is very famous in Peru, but now used, of course, to talk about the war, right? War is coming, right? So we have a series of pieces that are all here, like independently made by different artists, but we're trying to give in a uniformity, right? This is something curious to me because these were made by hand, and probably this looks like a more let's say, like the hand of a child, right? Which is very curious. No, this artist decided to include these pieces that were possibly sent by children, and well, this is really, really special. This is really cute. Oh, we have here, for example, these hands forming a butterfly, and they have also painted on top. Cicatrices, this is scars in braille. Braille. Oh, braille is the writing form for let's say for blind people. Braille. So visually impaired, I think you would call, right? So well, we have a series of these really interesting pieces, and I just want to give you the chance of see one by one, all of them. This zone where we are in this moment is Miraflores. The community where we are is considered to be one of the most modest parts of Miraflores district. And I was able to talk some few minutes before we started this live stream with one of the organizers that found also the wall for the event. He's a resident from this zone, from Santa Cruz community. And he invited us also for future events to see the murals of this zone, of this part of Miraflores. He is part of a group of people that is trying to impulse the street art as a way of cultural expression, also embracing your district, embracing your neighborhood, loving your neighborhood, being one with your neighborhood, right? Maradona, is that right? And also another important thing for him, gracias Randy, thank you so much for your support, muchas gracias, thank you. And also, well, creating or impulsing the creation of new artists that will eventually probably become famous internationally, but that will be able to find their path, because we have, unfortunately, still a society that consider the artists to be poor, right? If you are an artist, you're going to be poor. You will have no money, right? So the artists are usually the bohemians, and sometimes they are forced by society to embrace other jobs and not follow their dreams, right? So what this group of people want is to help others to find their passions, and also support them to develop those passions, if it's an artistic one, for example. So pop-up show, Barcelona. Oh, interesting. Pop-up show. Dueño se nace o se hace. The owner is born or is made. So we will now continue. Oh, this is really curious too. These are faces that you will find in the notes of Peruvian currencies, right? This one, for example, Quiñones was an aviator. He used to be the 10 soles note in Peru, but now he's gone. But it has been replaced, the note with his face, with the one of a famous Peruvian singer-composer, Chabuca Granda, right? So there's also a tremendous feeling about, like letting go a character of our history that has been in a 10 soles note, the cheapest, the most used note, right? And being replaced by a singer, right? So, well, lots of debates also about that here in Peru. So we will now continue. We're going to give a look. Oh, do you recognize, this? Well, Inca Kish. It should be Inca Cola. Inca Cola is the Peruvian soda. It's the soda that we love. It's the soda that we've been raised with, right? So it's also a very powerful symbol, local symbol, right? Empathy, empatia. So many of these, for example, the cat or of the dinosaur are also part of the symbols used by the artists that are here today collaborating and participating in this event. Hola, Jane. Hi, the Rican Bears. Oh, I didn't see you. Thanks for joining. Thank you. So we have here all the series of these pieces of art. Oh, gracias, Beverly. Thank you so much for your support. Muchas gracias. So the good news, by the way, my friends, is that we're going to have more of these events coming soon from different parts of Lima. And, well, I'm so happy that now Heygo is also becoming such a very important window for artists, for creators to be known and seen around the world. Now look at how wonderful Heygo has turned. An opportunity for many people, artists, to be seen and known, and events also be seen live from the comfort of your home, even though you are maybe in the other side of the world. So this is the name of the event, FILIBA. Maybe you would like to make a picture of this. And we have here the name in Spanish, the meaning Festival Internacional of Paste Up, Lima, Buenos Aires. So you've been able to participate of the first Paste Up Festival of Lima, Peru. What a great thing. And here on the other side, we have some other nice images. So the event started yesterday. In between 2 days, they were able to complete the whole mural in 2 days. They started around 10 a.m. yesterday and continued until about 5 p.m. and now they are ending a little bit earlier, of course. Hi, Big Rex. Hola, Peru. Soy yo. Hello, Peru. It is me. El amor como motor en todo. Love as a motor in everything. Right? We have here another series of pieces. Let me show you one by one, as I promised in the beginning. Do not delay your dreams. No postergues tus sueños. Amor, love. Esperanza, hope. What time is it here in Peru? Well, we started this event at 3:45. It must be about 4:10 or 15 Lima time. So, oh, look at the sky, by the way. Very great. This is the way how Lima turns in this season. In the time of winter, fall, it gets like this. And when we finish also, I'm going to give you a look to the neighborhood. So maybe you would like to see how is the neighborhood where this wall is located. To be more precise, if you come to Lima and you would like to see this wall, we have it in Miraflores. It is almost the limit between Miraflores and San Isidro district. Very close to the ocean, by the way, just 4 blocks away from the cliff. And it is in the corner between Lamar Street and Choquehuanca. I'm going to be doing soon another incursion in this zone because I've seen lots of street art and it would be great to show you those pieces. This event, we hope, is going to be repeated next year, and it would be fantastic to have the chance of seeing more artists, and well, without the pandemic, of course, without the COVID-19. How is COVID? Giorgio, like in most of the places around the world, most of the countries, we are now reaching out a very big number of people with 3 doses of the vaccine against COVID. About 80% in Lima also of people receive their 3 shots. are vaccinated with 3 shots. So it means that the country and the city in particular is slowly opening again to the way how it used to be before. And for example, starting May, we are not going to be requested to use masks, face masks in the streets. Puedes ver lo que nadie ve. You can. Oh, this is a question actually. Puedes ver lo que nadie ve. Can you see what nobody sees? Lo que no existe. Even what it doesn't exist. Very curious. Oh, this one here is a controversial one for Peruvians still. Aborto legal, legal abortions, right? Which in Peru are illegal. So we will continue for the last part of the mural. So this is the idea, as I was saying, of the paste up, right? I came in late. Are these painted on the wall? Jane, thanks for your question. Actually, you read my mind. I was about to explain again also how the paste up is made for those friends that came in the middle of the event. So no worries. So the paste up movement, it is pretty much one of the most easy the street art movements in terms of investment of money, because you don't need painting to make these designs. We need paper, right? You can use, for example, a small sticker like this one made by you, or it could be also with stencil painted, or it could be also printed. The idea is that whatever the ink you're going to use, it has to be permanent, right? So because if you use then later at the time of gluing it to the wall, you cover it with the glue, with the paste, and it is not a proper type of ink, it will completely be destroyed, right? So we don't want that. That's right, it has to be a permanent ink, very strong, like a adequate type of ink. So the paste up can be a small sticker, pretty much. It could be something bigger, like for example, a poster, like this one. Resistir es preciso. To resist is precise, is important. Hasta que la dignidad se haga costumbre. Until dignity becomes the norm. So this, it could be like middle size, right? And we have something much bigger, like this one, for example, which I think you can clearly see. Oh, look at, for example, we have a stencil painting over here, right, which is another movement. Stencil, muralism, graffiti, paste up are all part of the urban art movement, right? So, and we have here the bigger, let's say, designs, which usually are printed, right? So you can do this in a computer program. You design, or you can make a picture, you can make a composition in the computer, and then you divide this image, segmented in size of paper sheet, so you can have in as many as you wish, and then you glue them on the wall all together. So you create finally the composition you want. So you can have really very, very big pieces of art made in paste up, right? But it's more common to see, for example, in the bathrooms of the nightclubs or in nightclub zones, right? The little paste ups like this one here. Pegatinas, we also call them in Spanish, right? And to make the glue of the paste up, you don't need to invest too much money if you don't have it, like in acrylic glue. It usually is made with a combination of flour, harina, sugar, azúcar, right? And hot water. It has to be boiling water because the sugar is the glue. So the glue appears when the sugar is dissolved with the water, hot water, we have here the final product of the work of the artist here using a stencil, so a wolf, right? Until Sally, I was never happy. Until Sally, I was never happy. Sally must be the artist, right? And well, as here you can see, well, we are getting closer to the last part of that part of the wall. Remember that we have a really big space finally given for this event. In total, 80 square meters. That's the full size of this wall. This one also is pasted up. Look at this. Although it looks like graffiti, this is paper. Look at this, right? So, and it has been glued in parts and also giving a really nice final touch with possibly stencil. Cimarron. Cimarron in Latin America, it used to be the runaway slave, and is usually a sign of resistance. We have also even the name Chile, right? We have a piece of art from a Chilean artist. Chile, well. We will continue over here for the very last part. Thank you so much for your participation in this event. I really hope you enjoy it. I became in love of street art, thanks actually to Heygo, to be honest, because I like art. I have an art eye, artsy eye, because for a time I used to paint a lot. But thanks to Grace, my colleague Grace in Buenos Aires, and her beautiful tours dedicated to street art, I fell in love of this movement. And well, since then, since I saw her tours, I started to investigate about street art in Lima, in Peru, and particularly in Lima. And well, I realized about the beautiful art we have everywhere in the city. So it's been a pleasure to have you today. Thank you so much for your participation, my friends. And before we go, I just want to give you an idea of how the neighborhood where this mural is, right? So, gracias, Randy. Thank you. It's really been a pleasure to come here on this Sunday and have the chance of showing you this. To me, it's really, really special. Yes, Jane. Well, we just came to see this piece of art. I started at 3:45 this tour, so yeah, about 35 minutes. But before we finish, Molly, muchas gracias. Before we finish, I want to walk with you to show you the neighborhood. Would you like me to show you a little bit of how's the neighborhood where we are? Are you curious to see how is this part of Miraflores? Yay! Gracias, Jane. That would be super. Please keep with me because I'm going to show you a little bit of the life around this mural. So, gracias, Molly. Gracias. Thank you, Molly, for your tip support, by the way. Muchas gracias. You know, your tip support is the fuel that helps me to continue doing these events. So, muchas gracias. So, let me show you. We're going now to do a little more like a city tour. Would you like that? So we have seen the mural here. This is, by the way, a parking lot, private parking lot that has offered its wall to be all covered with this paste up, right? So this is a final picture of the whole paste up event, right? And if we move in this other direction, we're going to see the rest of the neighborhood. So we are exactly between La Mar Avenue and Choquehuanca in that corner, right? This is a part of Miraflores, but is considered the most modest part of Miraflores district, which usually is considered to be very affluent. So we have really good restaurants, by the way, in this zone. Very, very good restaurants. And we're going to continue walking. All the artists are gone, I think. So I wanted to say bye to them, but I think they are already gone. So we will now continue. What a great event indeed. And we're going to have the chance now to walk in this direction just a little bit. Let's go in direction to the ocean. What do you think? Just to show you how close you are to the beach from here. So this zone is, as I was saying, part of Miraflores. Miraflores is considered one of the most exclusive districts of Lima. But this part that is located in one of the edges of the district, it is usually the most abandoned part of this district. So the neighbors of this community that is called Santa Cruz, they are trying to impose different types of events like this one, for example, street art. They are trying to organize like walls of abandoned houses to be painted by artists. So, and they are really doing this with the passion only a neighbor would do, because not even the city hall is really supporting too much this street art. If you wanted to know, like, if the city halls were very involved in the street art in Lima, the street art movement, no, the answer is not really. Only I can say that Barranco district, which is the place where I usually spend time during these street art tours. Only Barranco is mainly the street art in the city is sponsored in a way or other by the city hall. But other districts, not really. For a long period of time, street art was considered vandalism, especially in Peru, because the street art movement emerged in a period of a terrible internal conflict, the time of the terrorism. So the terrorism in Peru that emerged in the 1970s became a very, very big problem in Peru in the 80s, and the terror of all Peruvians in the 90s. The terrorism was a movement that was a counterculture, it was a revolutionary in their way of seeing things, but it was also a group, paramilitary group that killed thousands of people. We know that in total about 25,000 people were killed by this war. But it was a war that was between the terrorists and the militaries, and poor people were in between this crossfire, right? Of course that the people that were dying because of the terrorism were not Limanians, accommodated Limanians from the middle class districts of the city or the rich districts of Lima. They were the poor people, the humble people in the rural zones first, right? But later, the Shining Path, Sendero Luminoso, and the MRTA started to attack Lima, and they started to go to the universities. And in the universities, the young people, which were recipients of these, revolutionary fights, they started to also show their affections towards these revolutionary ideas, and they started to come out to the city, to the streets, to paint on the walls. And paint on the walls phrases like, for example, government down, right? And insults of all kinds to the people that were in the government, right? So that's why painting on the walls became completely banned. And it was vandalism, and you could be taken to jail, right? So it was not a really good environment for a street art movement to emerge. In North America, in Europe, a street art movement is much older, of course. We were not able to develop that type of art until much later, until after the pacification of the country in the early 90s, during the time of Fujimori, for example. So that was the period when finally boys and girls from my generation, I am the generation of these first artists, street artists, muralists, they were the ones who persuading a little bit of the American lifestyle, especially the idea of the hip hop, right? Hip hop, sort of like the rappers, the basketball movement. Also, I remember that a lot, and yes, of course, the street art. They started to imitate that. So initially they did like wild style, and then later what they did was finding their own art, right? So as you can see, there's no street art here in this section. The walls are just painted in one color. We don't even have tags. Usually we have tags everywhere in Lima, like ugly, marks. But not in this zone because we are in Miraflores, right? So it's not permitted yet to do like paintings in most of this district, but the neighbors want to impose this to create a touristic attraction, also an alternative touristic attraction in this district to visitors that are interested in this art form. So we are about to go to see the ocean. Well, I hope you are enjoying the narrative, the story, and also understanding why street art took so long to Peruvians to be developed. Gracias, Queen. Thanks for being there, my friend. Thank you. So, and this is how we arrived to the coast, to the cliff. We have a bike line here. Look how dense, how thick today is the humidity, the clouds. Can you see it? Yes, we cannot even see the coastline. We cannot see the beach. That's because of the humidity. This is how Lima turns sometimes in this part of the year. And also, well, when it starts being like this, it then continues all the way until September. Right? So, but no worries. I know I will not be able to do many sunset tours anymore. But what I'm going to be doing, my friends, is taking my bicycle and I'm going to show you the bike lines of Lima very, very soon. We're going to be doing some cycling tours in Lima using my bicycle and the bike lines. So that would be very fun. Thank you so much for your participation, my friends, and especially thank you so much for your tip support. It helps me a lot. It helps my family a lot. It helps a lot Heygo, because in this way Heygo can continue keeping this platform free and open and apps free also. So in that way, everybody can join and enjoy these live events. If you would like to support me, maybe with a little donation, a little tip, but you don't know how to, I'm going to activate a button that is going to show you how you can support, and will give you all the information you need to do that. Muchas gracias, and thank you so much for coming to Lima. Today is Sunday. Have a lovely, lovely week. I really wish you to have the best week, to have a wonderful, successful week, and well, also to see you in my upcoming events. If you want to know which ones are my future events, you have to click on the button that says follow in the upper part. If you don't find that button there, that means that you already follow me. Muchas gracias, my friends. Take care. Best to you all, and well, see you soon. Best to you. See you. Bye-bye. Now I'm going to show you the ocean, and we are going to come to the end of this event with this relaxing view and also the morning glories here. Gracias, NC. Thank you. Here you have also my friend NC has shared the link to my events. I have many events coming next week. You are all invited to join. Muchas gracias. See you soon.